Mildred Head arose with a shock at 1:25 a.m. on Christmas Eve 1964. Her ceiling had come alive. She later told local writer Arthur Shuttlewood about the odd noises coming from the roof. It began with the sound of branches brushing across the tiles and gradually became louder and louder until it echoed like massive hailstones. She jumped out of bed to see what was going on outside the window, but she saw nothing unusual. She did, however, notice another sound, a humming sound that became louder before fading to a faint whisper. It was only the beginning of a decades-long mystery and series of UFO encounters known as the Warminster Thing all across the world. Because of the unusual occurrences that have recently started taking place in Warminster, Great Britain, the age-old enigma that has baffled the residents of that town has been brought back into the public eye. At the beginning of this year in June and again in August, people in the area reported seeing a glowing object moving in a cyclical pattern over the town. It was captured by some of the locals. This is what each of them saw. Matthew Norbury, a resident of the town, was the one who recorded this clip. His footage shows that it was speeding through the sky when all of a sudden it diverted off in a different direction. It has been speculated that the light is a meteor with a fireball at its core. However, Matthew said that he was unable to account for the light's rapid bounce and following obvious course change. Matthew said in the video that it was the first time he has ever seen something flying through the sky that looks like an Audi R8. We do not know where he got the comparison, but surely that's an exceptional one. In the 1960s, UFO sightings in this area were so frequent that a legend was born, known as the Warminster Thing. According to urban legend, back when the activity was at its height, people reported hearing loud noises, seeing lights in the sky, birds dying for no apparent reason, crop circles, and cars unexpectedly breaking down. In particular, one episode has left inhabitants of the region with questions for which they have yet to get satisfactory answers. In 1966, on March the 13th, a woman and her husband went down to Southampton to visit her mother because it was their eldest son's first birthday. When they were going to her house, she reported that there was a light approaching them, and it appeared to become bigger and bigger through the trees until it became a great glow in the sky. She added that the light was coming from the fields, and there were two other men present, both of whom appeared to be confused. Nobody among them was aware of what was taking place. They said that the light came from the field, but when they went there to check, they did not find anything. It is widely considered to be one of the most unusual cases of paranormal activity ever to have occurred in the United Kingdom. In the coming years, strange events continued to happen in Warminster, a town little over 15 miles from Stonehenge. The unexpected deaths of a whole flock of pigeons occurred in February of 1965. The next month, 3 separate families all reported hearing tremendous noises emanating from the vicinity of their homes, accompanied by the shaking of their roofs and windows. And early in the month of June, people living in Warminster reported seeing flying objects in the sky that they could not identify. One witness described what they saw as cigar-shaped and covered with flashing bright lights, while another described it as 2 red-hot pokers dangling downwards, one on top of the other with a black area in between. The descriptions of the UFOs varied from person to person. People from all across the country began to pay attention to the strange happenings that were taking place, and they gathered at Warminster in the hopes of catching sight of the thing. The question now is, what exactly is the Warminster Thing? Well, given the reported facts from the videos and news, we can assume 3 theories about it. First of all, we can assume this is a genuine UFO. Second, this is an elaborate fake that has been set up to grab attention. And last, this does have some kind of rational reason behind it. For the first theory, the possibility exists that it is an extraterrestrial UFO. Nevertheless, we need to take into account the previous research conducted on UFOs and the results of such studies. There hasn't precisely been any proof that can be considered concrete and definite that either confirms or disproves the presence of aliens, and to tell you the truth, the topic is still rather ambiguous to this very day. Although there have been sightings and incidents that cannot be explained throughout history, such as the one that took place at Warminster, there have been very few answers and very little proof of what it is that we are truly seeing. As there is not enough evidence available to show that this is an extraterrestrial spaceship, it's safe to say that it was not a UFO. According to the second theory, this whole thing was an elaborate fake that was staged to get people's attention. This one is probable and mostly relevant since it is relatively simple to produce a 3D picture like this in a program like After Effects. People will make up stories about alien encounters and post them on social media to get more attention and views on their content. These stories can be found all over the internet. For example, one of the main unexplained occurrences that Scare Theatre disproved a few months ago was the inexplicable noises that were heard all across the world. If you don't understand, take the video of Warminster. It turned out there was nothing more to it than people recording in different locations while playing the same music in the backdrop of their recordings, regardless of where they resided. In any case, let's discuss the video itself. While some believe it was staged for attention, several people from all around the city gathered to take photos from different viewpoints. This hypothesis has a chance of being correct, yet it appears to be too much of a hustle for people to go to gain attention, and for that reason, some might not consider it further. Regarding Theory 3, if you see in this video, the flying pattern of the UFO, one notable feature that may catch your attention, is a trail that it leaves behind it. It nearly has the appearance of some kind of fireworks that are floating about in the air. We can't completely exclude the possibility that it's a firework, because it is possible that it exploded while it was still in the air. However, there are several other possibilities that we may look into, and if you know about aerosparks, you might question anyone who says the object in the video is a UFO, as aerosparks is well known for making stunt planes that release a flame trail quite similar to what we see in the movie. The United Kingdom, as you probably guessed, is the origin of this company. With this in mind, anybody who watches the video once again will undoubtedly say that what they are seeing is nothing more than an aerosparks aircraft flying about in the skies. But why on that night? To tell you the truth, I have no idea. Although the strange occurrence itself has been solved, the mystery of Warminster still remains to this day. The events that took place back then have left a lasting impression on the community, and we can only hope that answers will become available in our lives. Until then, all we can do is speculate about what could happen. If extraterrestrials are in the neighborhood, you have to admit that they are the nicest neighbors ever, since they never make any disturbance. They do nothing except buzz around. They do not address the issue of climate change, nor do they take anything from us.